And we are back with another Third Life Crisis podcast episode for you all. We are ready to get started here, and we are glad you've joined us today.
For those of you who are new to the podcast, we are three friends discussing our journeys from our 20s to our third life crisis. So join us on this wild adventure.
My name is John Michael, and I have Cassie and Austin here. Good day, guys.
Hello.
Hey.
Today is Tuesday, May 14th, and on today's podcast, we're going to be talking about some car trouble that Austin and Cassie had to go through. I have some exciting news to share with everyone regarding Jessica and I's future, and we have a movie review from Austin a little later. But before we get into that, make sure you're taking the time to locate and follow us on social media. Just search at 3RD Life Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. We've been a little lackluster in the social media space.
Looking at you, Cassie.
Who?
But
I'm not in charge of social media.
We're going to be making a comeback in that department,
that
so
my
make sure you're
fault?
following.
I'm sorry. Can we just clear the air real quick?
Don't call it a comeback.
Don't call it a comeback.
We'll just talk about that off air. Off air. Don't worry about it.
Alrighty. So we took another week off.
Per our use.
We had to get the mind right, you know.
Don't you feel refreshed, though? Like, I'm so excited to record today.
You know what? We're going to go to a monthly podcast. No, just kidding. Last week, Jess and I were extremely busy. We're going to get into that in a little while. Cassie's school schedule, obviously, is always in play.
Oh, so it is my fault.
Mostly in play. But yeah, I guess we can start here. You know, I want to... This isn't on the docket, and I didn't write this in, but I thought about it right now before we started. The last time we talked, one of the things we talked about was how Cassie, her 14 pounds.
Bitch. All right. Let's get into that.
I just want to know, how's that going? It's been 2 weeks. You know, that's 2 weeks of eating right.
John, I just ate 3 chocolate-covered strawberries before we began this podcast, so let's just say it's going that way.
Austin had made a comment that last podcast rather, that you bought a bunch of food and, you know, did y'all burn through that food already? Did y'all give up on that food?
Wow. Okay. So this is not expected at all.
That's what I like to do, you know, a little curveball.
Did not prepare an answer for this. John, I haven't been doing too well. We did fine the first week. Yesterday, we tried going back on diets, and I felt like I was going to die because I was so hungry because my stomach finished expanding back to its normal size. And, like, just all the meals we had over the weekend, let's just say it's, like, it's not going well. It's not going well, right?
That's just the past 2 days. We did good the first week.
It is not the past 2 days.
Well, I mean the weekend, including the weekend, sorry.
Yeah, that's more than 2 days. That's like 5 days.
What do you consider the weekend?
Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday,
Thursday,
Tuesday.
Every day is a weekend. Okay, got it. Check.
No, I'm just saying those are the days that we didn't eat very well. He refuses to eat the food I make for him.
No, I ate that yesterday.
Is it good?
I mean, it's vegetables, John. How do you feel about that?
Couldn't do it.
I ate it. I ate the food.
I haven't gone back on the scale, if that's what you're asking. I could do that tomorrow. And
As you say
and
no.
get back to y'all.
As you shake your head no. No, I was just curious. That's something that we had mentioned. I just want to make sure that, you know, people listening know that you didn't give up.
Yeah, that's great, John. You just go ahead and cut all of that out, and we'll just start fresh.
So then, the car situation. What's going on with y'all's car? What happened? First it was the fence, and then it was Vinny escaping 3 times a week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
now it's a car.
Yeah, so we were supposed to go camping with my mom and my brothers and sisters for Mother's Day this past weekend, but we desperately needed an oil change because we were pushing well over what our limit was supposed to be. And so Austin got out of work early, took the car in, and he calls me and he's like, hey, I don't even know what the problem was. Babe, do you want to jump in on that problem?
Oh, I mean, I don't know specifics either. There was something that sits in between the transmission and engine that was cracked and was leaking.
And so they basically said, if you don't fix this now, it's going to be a huge problem if something
It'll mess up your transmission.
If something does go wrong. And so we were like, well, we're going to use the car to go down. Whose phone is on?
Sorry,
in the
go ahead.
middle of my
Keep going.
In the middle of my story. I'm just kidding. When we were supposed to go down, and I was like, dang. Well, and I was kind of mad because I was really looking forward to it. So I was pissed. I was like, well, then we're just going to take your truck. I don't know how many miles left that truck has, but I didn't think it would make it back down that way or that many miles. And he was like, well, they can get us a rental car. I was like, okay, cool. They're like, it'll be done Saturday. Well, we were only going to go for the weekend. So we were going to go early Saturday, spend the day, the night, and then head back up Sunday. So it's going to be a really quick trip in and out. And they're like, well, we can't finish it till mid-Saturday. And I'm like, well, what's the point of going if they can't finish it that long? Long story short, we kept the rental car till Monday, and we didn't go.
Okay. So just another third life crisis expense.
Luckily, we had gotten the whatever type of warranty we got on the car. And so it covered it because it would have been like over $1,000 to fix. So everything was covered under the warranty. But it's just one of those things where it's like, if it's not one thing, it's the other. If it's not the freaking dryer, it's the fence. If it's not the dog, it's the car. It's like, I don't understand where all these problems stem from. I don't remember having this many problems when we lived in a damn apartment. It's not always the house. It's just, I don't know.
Other things in life. You know, that's funny because, not funny, I guess, but Vinny never escaped from the apartment, huh?
Well, we always took him out on a leash, so.
But even when we got off the leash, like, didn't that happen a few times?
No?
He
No,
would
never
run
once?
up to people.
Oh, okay.
He would run up to people, and then they would just hold him for us.
Yeah, I mean, I think Vinny, we walked Vinny around that apartment every day, twice a day, so he knew his territory there.
It was gated. I didn't think he'd get too far.
Right. We just had to worry about the owls and turkeys that were lurking around.
Those chickens or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Those
And the rat-tatas.
The wild chickens.
There was no rat.
So what did you rent? Was it another Sentra, you said?
Yeah, it was another Nissan Sentra. I think just a newer edition.
Was it noticeably newer, features-wise?
It had a touch screen, rear camera. But it did have features. Or I'm sorry, it also did not have features that our car currently has, which was kind of like regressive. Like why doesn't the visor extend all the way out?
Oh, okay.
That's weird. So just certain like small things, but it was fine. I mean, same car.
I didn't enjoy texting you and getting a text back saying you were driving and you couldn't text me back.
Yeah, you like that?
That was garbage. That's
Well,
something. I have important things to text you. You know.
You did not.
It was just weird because it would tell me you text and I could hear what you said, and I could respond if I wanted to, but if I didn't respond fast enough, it would just automatically send that reply.
Stupid.
And so yeah, that's where you're getting that. But look, like Cassie said, luckily we got the extended warranty back when we did, however many years ago, because we didn't have to pay $1,400.
So this is a car that you guys want to keep. This is a car you guys want to pay off and have around.
Yeah.
I don't know about all that. It's a working vehicle. That
Oh.
paid off.
Cassie, whoa. I mean,
I'm
Austin.
not, like,
I know,
I'm not,
wait.
like, married to it, but you know.
You don't want to keep it?
Yeah, but it's, you know.
If we don't, it's okay.
I mean, it's almost paid off. I feel like we have to at this point.
Well, that's what he's saying. Like,
You invested too much time and money in it.
but that's what he's saying.
Yes, John, we'd like to keep it.
We have recently just talked about this because we're going to finish paying it off next year. And we're discussing, we're going to get a new vehicle. But basically our garage only
starting
fits,
those payments over again.
well, that, and our garage only fits 2 vehicles. So my old truck ends up being the one on the outside.
You need to get rid of it, but we'll talk about that later.
So I might have to get a little carport for it.
What would you guys even want as a second vehicle?
Cassie wants a truck.
I would like a truck or an SUV or just something bigger.
Badder, bigger.
I mean, the reason we chose the Sentra, I mean, when we were looking at cars, I had a bunch of spreadsheets to figure out the price, fuel, size, storage, all that stuff, reliability, customer service, everything. And we chose the Sentra for several reasons, but one, it was good on gas mileage, and it had a lot of legroom in the back as well as in the trunk space. So those were kind of the three main reasons why we chose the Sentra. But now that we have a vehicle like that going forward, and hopefully the car will last us another 4 years, 5 years, it just makes more sense to have a larger vehicle to get stuff around, move stuff around. So that's why we're leaning more towards a larger vehicle.
Jess and I were talking about potentially getting a new vehicle because she's about to pay off her Camaro probably this month. And we thought it'd be nice to have another bigger vehicle for the baby that's on the way.
Sure.
But I think that's been placed on hold because of the news I was going to share with everybody. We are house shopping, we have been house shopping, and what do you want to call it? We're at the stage now where we signed a contract and they accepted our offer, so we're kind of in the closing stages, I guess. I have no idea what part of this is. But
in the end game now.
Yeah, in the end game now. It was very quick. Like, from the last podcast till now, the last podcast we weren't looking, I don't think. No, we weren't looking yet. But in the past 2 weeks, we were looking, the past week rather, Sunday to a Thursday, we were seeing 3 to 4 homes an evening. And yeah.
That's a lot of homes. So you found the one, eh?
Yeah, I think we found the one. We're still going through a bunch of different inspection, things like that. Waiting for the underwriting and stuff to come back. The stuff that you guys went through, obviously, that you guys talked extensively about. So I'm not going to touch on any of that. But my thoughts, it's very, very exhausting to think about every day.
Yeah, I think we had mentioned it. It's something like, everybody who's in it knows what they're doing. You know, your realtor, your bank, the inspection people. Everybody knows their job. Ours were really good at it, so it went by very quickly. But it really is a whirlwind because you don't understand what anything that they're saying, what they're explaining to you, why stuff costs this much, why it takes this long. The whole process is just, it's like a foreign language. You just have no idea what's going on. Then you magically have a house, you know?
Yeah, like, I don't know. I tell myself I don't want to go through this again, but I've changed my stance and my view on a starter home versus a forever home. A forever home versus, the starter home versus forever home. I know we talked about this on a podcast, and I was firmly into the idea of having a forever home.
Right.
Versus a starter home, you sell it in a couple of years and you trade up or whatever. But I don't know how to say this. Positionally in our lives, if that's even a word, positionally, where we are in our lives right now and what we could afford, I feel like it wasn't something that like is going to be right for us in 10 years, you know?
Sure.
The living space. So I can honestly, truthfully say I am okay trading up in a few years, in the future.
Right.
Yeah, and our bank person told us, what is the average? Like 7 years?
6 years, I think it was.
6 years. The average people stay in their home. It's not very long.
I was seeing that, like, all the properties we were seeing, you could see the last time it was sold and in the past, you know, just the history of the property. And some of it was sold every 2 years. Some of it was sold every 4 or 5 years, you know, things like that. Some of them were built pretty recently and sold within a year or two of them, just, you know, a brand new house.
Yeah.
And it all depends on what's going to fit your family.
Yeah.
Right now, this might fit your family, and, you know, in 5 years when your baby's close to starting school, maybe you need something bigger.
Yeah, and I think that's where my mindset is now. I'm not looking forward to the process again, and that'd be a different process, obviously, the seller's process, you know. It seems like they're the one, like, they're probably going through their own headaches and whatnot. But, yeah, so long story short, Jess and I have located a property, and we're in the process of hopefully closing by the end of the month. And we'll go from there. It wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be, but it's just been tedious. Tedious is the right word. extremely tedious. Just things have to be perfect. You need the right documents. I mean, you guys been through this.
Yeah, and it just picking out a house out of the, I'm sure, hundreds of thousands of houses that are on sale in your city, trying to find the right one, the right location, the right size, the right price, side of town. I mean, it's, again, like I said, a whirlwind. It's difficult.
The most frustrating thing was finding a property, and Austin told me you guys went through this, finding a property that is a winner, and you can't compete with the bidding, or you can't compete with someone who has probably a little bit more leeway than you.
Right.
And that sucked because you have no control over that.
Yeah,
and I didn't know it was going to be like that.
And it was the same thing like with this house. I mean, I know we mentioned it on the podcast when we were going through it last October. When we found this house, we came in over asking just because we wanted to get the house. And it ended up working out where we ended up paying what they were asking, so we didn't go over and all this stuff. But yeah, I mean, like in that situation, I'm sure there was someone else who did not want to go over the asking, or weren't approved to go over, but yet we were, so we did, and we got the house, right? And
I think it was a similar situation, right? The amount of time it was on the market.
Yeah.
That's another thing I was noticing. Like other properties we saw that were on the market for 10, 20, one for 40 days. It's on the market that long because it's for a reason.
Yeah.
There was 2 or 3 that we wanted and we considered putting an offer in. And either we couldn't compete, or there was already an offer that they accepted and it just wasn't updated on the website that we were looking at. Yeah. And those houses were on the market for 1 to 4 days tops, And I think we got lucky with ours because it was on the market that one day, and we were the last ones to see it, and they accepted our offer that night as we were walking out of the house. So, I mean, again, that was all verbal, right? No contract at the time. They could have screwed us and went somewhere else that was a sweeter, price or whatever. But yeah, I feel lucky that we are at this point. Again, nothing's solid yet. We're still in this little option period that ends on Friday. But we went through the inspection. There's a little bit of cosmetic things here and there. We're going to throw it in and see what they want to do with it. It's nothing crazy. It's so close, but it feels so far.
Nothing's final until you sign.
Yeah, I don't want to go back. I'd hate to go back and start just looking again, like for something to fall through. If there was something wrong with the house, I can understand, but nothing seemed wrong when we were there with the inspector and everything. I would hate to just retract, just go backwards.
Yeah.
But yeah, aside from that, I'm excited to be a homeowner. Hopefully everything goes well. I don't want to jinx it or anything, but looking forward, in 2 months, hopefully everything will be set and good, and I'll be in that house with Jess.
So the next headache, once everything goes through, is moving in. Like, how much shit do y'all have? Because we had so much stuff. It was ridiculous.
We don't have a lot of stuff because I've mentioned this before, but Jess moved in with me right before we got married, and she didn't bring a lot of stuff. I didn't have a lot of stuff. We have a bed, a dresser, a dining room table, and that's it. And there's clothes, obviously, and things, little things to fill up the closets and stuff, and bathroom stuff. But furniture-wise, that's it. We have to get a couch. We have to get a dryer and washer. We have to get a fridge. I can't think of anything else at the moment that's like a necessity. And we don't even need couches. Plates. I'll sit on the floor. I don't care.
You're not going to sit on the floor. What about like plates and pots and pans?
Yeah. So for my apartment, before I came back here and Jess moved in with me, I have a bunch of stuff boxed away that it'll get us through, obviously. It's not no $300, $400 pans that she was looking at one time after we got married. That was crazy.
Can you imagine the food being cooked on there?
Oh, no. I can't. A piece of chicken. I don't know.
For the gods.
I'm excited to have like an actual office, potentially. We'll make one of the rooms an office. I'll have my TV and Xbox in there away from the living room. And I don't know, there's just a lot of things that are going through my mind of what I want it to be, because I've never really been able to do that. And again, you guys have been there.
Yeah, we still haven't decorated. This place is pretty bare. It's just hard because you see stuff in the store and you're like, is that going to look good? Is it too big, too small? But, you know, decorating's fun. It does cost money. We just need to slowly start putting stuff up. Pictures. I love pictures, and there's not a single picture of anything in this house.
We have pictures too, and I asked her, I was like, "Are we gonna put pictures of ourselves all over the house?" And she was like, "I don't know. I don't know if I'm into that. Maybe like our wedding picture somewhere, but that's it. You know, I don't know. I kind of like the minimalistic,
clean.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but like the less clutter. I don't know.
Yeah.
That look. What do they call it? That feng shui. Is that a word?
Shui.
Feng shui. Anyway,
sleek.
Shrew. Feng shui.
Feng shui.
Yeah, that's good.
That's very exciting. And y'all have to decorate a nursery. That's even more exciting.
Hey, let's calm down. Calm down. She'll be lucky if she has a crib. We don't have a crib right now.
Whatever. Y'all gonna get her everything she needs.
There's no carpet in the entire house, which is crazy. I've never been a part of that.
We made sure there was no carpet. I mean, we do have a couple of rooms that have carpet, bedrooms, but it was just too much maintenance for me to keep up. And then with dogs, and they get dirty, and vacuuming. I feel like I could vacuum 100 times in the apartment, and it would not pick up everything. So I do have to sweep often, but it's better than it being stuck in a carpet.
Yeah, I'm excited to have just the outside to hopefully just make my own. I've told y'all, like, make the yard look nice and whatnot. It's not a big front yard. That's something that I have to get used to. Like, I will say this, it's pretty much non-existent probably.
Mm-hmm.
It'll probably take 2 minutes to mow the front yard. But the backyard definitely can be a place that's nice.
Again, it's just hard because it's like you have to pour money into it for maintenance. And do you have a lawnmower? Way to buy a lawnmower.
I do.
Austin has to go out and cut it, and it's big enough to where he can't cut it all in one day.
Yeah. Well, I guess you guys came from an apartment, right? So for a long while.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that wasn't part of y'all's routine. But here, I mean, growing up in the summer, this yard has to be mowed every 2 weeks, which I'm sure it's probably that over there too.
Mm-hmm.
That's just part of, I don't know. I used to hate it growing up, but I appreciate it now. Like, I feel like I take pride in it.
I
Yeah,
just can't
it's
believe
fun.
it grows that fast.
And, listen to Shake Your Tail Feather.
Yes,
course.
of course. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. Like Cassie said, we need to still decorate. There's still a lot of things I want to do. I like the way the house is. But going back to what you're saying about being it like a forever home or a starter home, I feel like this house, I don't know, probably somewhere in between, maybe closer to starter home. But I think and Cassie and I have talked about this, with the size of the house and the size of the yard we have, I have ideas, I know Cassie did too, of like how we can add an extra room, how we can move stuff around. Granted, I have no idea if that's going to work, if what's a load-bearing wall or any of that shit.
Mm-hmm.
But, I
How
mean...
much that costs?
Yeah, and how much that costs, but is it worth putting in the $10,000 to build an extra room and make this more into a forever home, or is that too much hassle and we should just, in a couple years, sell it, move into a bigger house? I still have my dream to put the pool in the backyard.
Oh, you want a pool? I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Why?
I mean, the
You don't
backyard's
have
big
that
enough.
type of money.
The backyard's big enough, and we live in Texas. We could use it 10 months out of the year.
Dang, that'd be nice to go visit y'all and there'll be a pool. Cassie, let them do it. Just let them do it.
And that's less grass I have to cut.
It's more
I don't know
maintenance,
how
though.
much-
I mean, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you enjoy it, right? I mean,
I didn't know you were rich, babe. This is news to me. You have
Call
pool
me-
money?
call me Big Fish.
Mhm.
oh, you rich.
I'm just saying, like, little things like that, where
Yeah,
It's
is it
gonna
worth to
cost-
make that investment?
it's going to cost tens of thousands of dollars for us to pay to get a room, to get a fourth room attached to our house, to, again, eventually maybe get a pool. But is that worth it if we want to stay in the neighborhood? We really like our neighbors. We like the location. Or is it not? Is it worth it just to say, nope, let's put in as much as we can into this house, and after a few years, sell it and move to a different house, a bigger house or whatever?
Dude, I just thought about it. So I'm over here. I mean, you guys again went through it. It's tedious the home buying process, finding a home, all the paperwork, the lengthiness of it, everything. In my mind, it's very, very exhausting. And I'm sure a lot of people could agree. Imagine being in the position you're thinking of. You want to sell, but you also want to buy. That sounds even more freaking exhausting.
Right, because you don't want to double up on payments, right? Like, you don't want to have your house trying to sell it while you're already paying on a mortgage on another house, right?
God. Yeah, I just thought about that. That doesn't sound.
And
fun
we
at
had
all.
something similar. I mean, not exactly the same. Where
with your apartment.
we had to be out. We had to be out of the apartment because we didn't want to have to pay for the apartment rent and then a mortgage also.
Yeah,
but
that's a problem for future me. I mean, 7 years now, 8 years down the road.
Right, and again, I mean, you get a good realtor, get all that stuff, like, you know, and hopefully everything you put into the house and increases the value, neighborhood starts coming up, all that stuff just helps in getting it moved.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's always going to be another 30-year-old couple looking to buy the house.
This is true. You just got to take care of it. This house, I think, was taken care of. I think they were renting it out because there was somewhere on one of the pieces of paper that I've read up to this point that said they were not occupying the house. So I think they were renting it out or something, and they redid everything. They repainted everything, all the walls. I think they repainted the exterior of the house. They put new flooring everywhere. I mean, it looks nice for the price that, like, for other things we were seeing in our price range that looked kind of bland and it just wasn't appealing, and I felt like we were gonna settle.
Yeah.
Like this feels upgraded. This feels homey, is what we were looking for. Other houses look like plain old apartments, dude. I feel like just white everything.
Yeah,
well,
and you don't want to fix her upper at this point.
Yeah,
you know.
To interrupt you there, I know we said it in the podcast when we were searching for the house, but there was like one house I remember distinctly. I'm sure there was others where the square footage was less than our apartment. And so it was like, I don't want to go from an apartment to a house that's smaller than my apartment. Yeah. Granted, I mean, that doesn't include the yard and all that stuff, but the actual physical interior was smaller than our apartment. So we knew we wanted a bigger house. We wanted the 3-bedroom, 2 baths, all that stuff. But when I think of those other houses, like those, I think of like true starter homes because it was smaller than our apartment.
Yeah, that's a little insane.
Yeah, and you don't want to fix her upper with a baby on the way, you know, especially if you don't have any previous experience fixing up houses, you know, even though you are capable of fixing stuff up, you know, time-wise, money. I wouldn't want anything to get effed up, you know, if you don't do it properly.
So we almost, like, thank God the forces that exist beyond intervened. We were ready to put an offer in on a house that was way less than what we were approved for. And it was a nice 2-story house. However, it was a foreclosed. No, it was a foreclosed home. So there was some items that needed to be repaired all over the house. Nothing crazy. You know, fresh paint, it probably looks brand new, and you wouldn't know like the windows need to be replaced or something. But Jess really, really liked it, and I really liked it because she really liked it. And we saw it. We went the next day to look at it with her dad, Jessica's dad, because he's the handyman, and we wanted to know if it was worth it or not, and if, you know, basically he'd be able to help us versus hiring contractors. Anyway, he was like, if this is what y'all want. He wasn't too into it, I don't think, but for the price, you know, we were like, okay. So we told our realtor, let's put an offer in. And the very next day she was like, she said, they already accepted another offer the night before, the night that her dad went. And man, that was one of the times we were just crushed. Like we saw what it could have been type of thing. I'm sure, again, other people have been through the same experience. But then I started, again, just like you guys, I'm new to this process. I've never bought a house. I don't know how a home loan works, mortgages, things like that. I thought we're approved. Let's just say this is not accurate at all. Let's say you're approved for $300,000 and the house is $150,000. I thought you have the option of getting the full $300,000 and just taking it for home repairs. And so in our mind, that was kind of the scenario. Again, it wasn't nearly that much. But in our mind, we were like, okay, we have this extra money that we're approved for. The difference, we'll put that into the house. And that was the mindset we had when we said, let's put an offer in. And obviously, whatever happened, happened. I went and talked to the mortgage rep to drop off some papers that was unrelated for the underwriting. And I told her what had happened. And I asked her that question. And she was like, no. She's like, we would just lower your loan amount.
Right.
And at that moment, I was like, Jesus Christ, thank you. Like, oh, my God.
Well, because the bank is, they're putting this money up front because they know, I mean, because that's what the house is worth. They don't have any faith in you to go and, like, fix up the house for yourself. Like, there's no, why would they give you money for that? You know what I mean?
Well, and if something falls through, they own the house.
Right.
If something falls through and they gave you an extra $150,000 more, well, then that's just gone. You know, they're not gonna be like, cross their fingers. They put it all back into the house.
But even then, like, say in that scenario, they were going to give you double. Like, geez, what did you do to this house to make it double what it's worth, you know?
Yeah.
I understand it was in foreclosure, but yeah, like, the bank wouldn't, that's not in their best interest.
Again, I'm just happy it didn't happen because that would have been a scenario where we're paying for things out of pocket or having to apply for another loan. She was saying, the lender was like, in that case, you would apply for a construction loan and, you know, the bank will front you whatever, but you got to put it into the house. And I'm sure there's probably some sort of requirements as far as the value. I don't know. It would just been more of a headache, and I'm glad that fell through, and I'm glad that's someone else's problem who could afford it, and, you know, it just felt really lucky to not be put in that position. So yeah, we'll keep everyone updated. I don't know how fast this is gonna move, but we've seen so many pieces of paper, and one of the pieces of paper I saw there was a closing date of May 31st.
Oh yeah, they can turn it around pretty quickly.
Yeah. We'll see how that goes. I understand it's probably mostly on the banking side, the underwriting and all the research they have to do, but
I feel like once we were at the inspection part, though, it moved really quickly after that because they did the underwriting as we were looking, I believe.
Yeah, our lender and everyone, they worked like in real time our lender was talking to the realtor like in like every second to work in real time to get this done fast.
All the pieces of paper, like I said, document-wise, has been in conjunction with them, both of them working together. I think they know each other. I don't know if that's against the law. they refer work to each other. They help each other out like that. So they're on a first name basis, you know. So which is good for us. They have that relationship. The inspector.
Everybody's got to make money.
The inspector knew the realtor, so she recommended him. You know, he did a great job. I think he was real friendly. So I'm glad. I do feel lucky too, in the same sense that we're not getting all these random people who don't know what's happening.
Right.
But yeah, so May 31st is apparently the closing date. We'll see what happens. That seems like too quick of a turnaround time, so I'll keep everyone posted.
Not at all.
So you all excited to have your own place?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to say about it. Jess is excited. She's already looking at baby room ideas, like where to put stuff and whatnot. And
nice.
I'm happy that we're gonna have a place to put stuff that we're gonna get from the baby shower somewhere.
Yeah.
You know, in a room somewhere.
Yeah.
So last week speaking of baby, last week we had a baby appointment. We haven't had one in about a month, so we're kind of eager to see, hear the heartbeat again and maybe a sonogram. I don't know. Or is it ultrasound or sonogram? Same thing?
I've never been pregnant. I don't know. I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm going to stick with sonogram.
A sonogram, I think.
Anyway. And we show up at the appointment, and Jessica's sister comes because she wants to just see what's happening, maybe hear the heartbeat. And we show up.
Meet her homegirl.
Yeah. We show up, and Jess is like, I'm here for an appointment. They're like, the doctor's not taking any appointments today. And she's like, what? And she just got a text confirming it. She shows her the text. She's like, no, the doctor's at a different location. And she doesn't take appointments this late in the day anyway. So we're like, well, someone made this damn appointment. So long story short, we had to make the appointment for this Friday. So we had to wait a whole another week.
Oh.
Which is just kind of killing us, but it was that dumb receptionist.
Mm-hmm.
I had the same issue with my dentist.
So yeah, what is this weather or rain?
Oh, real quick before we move out houses, if anyone out there, a third lifer, knows how to install French gutters, please hit me up. Thank you.
So you texted me about that, and I haven't Googled it yet. So you know what I'm gonna do right now? Guess.
I watched a few videos on it, about half an hour worth, and I was like, well, I'm an expert now. I'm just kidding. No, I think we have, I don't know. A lot of the videos said that French gutters are something you can do yourself. Like, there should be no reason to hire anyone. And I'm like, well, why can't we do this ourselves? But I'm like, oh yeah, we have no skill in house maintenance, you know?
Well, and we would have to get stuff. I mean, either way.
Right. But it would still, I would assume it would be cheaper than paying for the labor and the materials, but
I don't, well, yes. If I knew what I was doing, sure. But, like, I mean, okay. So when we got the house, it was raining that week. We saw the house, but I guess it wasn't that bad or that much of rain. But recently here in North Texas, we've had a ton of rain come down.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm noticing where, like, the water is pooling around our house in certain areas. And so I want to get that fixed before summer gets here, because we have West Nile up here and all that's good stuff. So I asked Cassie, maybe we should put in some French gutters in the areas where the water's pooling, and that's where we're at now, where we want French gutters, but have no experience in installing them.
I don't have a shovel.
Well,
Step one.
Have you looked at installation costs, like how much it would cost for that?
No, I went on Home Advisor, and I typed in, you can like type in and it'll autofill what you're searching for. I typed in French gutters and I didn't find anything. I was like, well.
Because you do it yourself.
I guess so.
I think we could have done the fence ourselves. How hard is it to mix cement and put a pole in there?
So it goes underground? From the pictures I'm barely looking at?
Yeah. So you basically, when you're shoveling it, you're supposed to shovel it at an angle to where the water tilts down, and that's supposed to go into some type of gutter. I don't know where there's a gutter on our street. You're supposed to put layers of like gravel, whatever the tube is, and cloth or whatever around it, and then more gravel on top, and then cover it back up with dirt. And there's supposed to be a basin, so basically when the water starts coming in, it goes into that basin, down the tube, and out the gutter. To me, it sounds like you're just digging basically a ditch, a hole, and then you fill it with the shit, and hopefully the water goes and tunnels that way. But everybody knows I can't rake, so I don't know how I would be with the shovel and dirt.
That looks interesting.
But I'm sure Austin could do it.
I know you asked me about it and I had no idea what you're talking about, but literally just
well,
looking
again,
at it.
I understand the way Cassie described it. Like, the steps, they sound, I understand it. It sounds easy. I understand what she's saying. But I would just want someone here to tell me, like, where to place it. Like, if this whole area is being flooded, where is the best place? Just dead center and make it a little basin and then slowly slope it towards the street? I mean, I don't know.
I would look into, like, who would install it. So, I mean, those are good points. I don't know anything about that.
I'm sure the neighbors could help.
Should I build it closer to my house? Further away from my house? Again, right smack in the center where it's pooling? I don't know. How big does the basin need to be? You know.
Well, there comes standard. You know.
Oh, okay.
You attach the basin to the tube. So you just need enough hole for as big the tube is.
So our house, not our house. I don't want to jinx it again. The house that we put an offer in for doesn't have gutters. But I feel like that's not a big deal because Jessica's dad's house doesn't have gutters. However, we're like on an incline, or I guess a small hill, and you can see when we were doing the when I was there with the inspector rather, he was like, you need to probably add about 8 to 10 inches of soil all the way around and regrade it, because since there's no gutters, the water's falling straight off, and it's eroding. The soil and the dirt or whatever's been eroding. So you can see like the base of the foundation almost. And he was all like, you get gutters, that's not going to happen. Or it probably has a less chance of happening. So I think that's something we're going to invest in probably in the future.
Well, I mean, that's basically what's happening here. The areas where it's happening are the areas where we don't have gutters. But I feel like the gutters we have now at our house, I understand that's probably the purpose they were installed for. But another purpose is they're installed right in the walkway. So that if you're walking from the driveway up our walkway into our house, you're not going to get wet from the roof because that's where the gutters are. But everywhere else around the house, the gutters aren't there, and the water is pooling.
I think it's just one of those things where it's like home ownership, like it's never ending. It's something else. As of right now, I mean, we've only been living in here 7 months, give or take. Some change.
Cassie's over it.
No, I think it's still. I'm still leaning towards house versus renting. I freaking hated that apartment. But it's just little things like you have to think about. Like that was one of the things we considered. Like, do we just add soil? Do we plant something? Is it gonna matter when the summer comes and we're in hell because it's so hot and there's no water?
I get it. Something to think about. I mean, you made me just think of the importance of putting gutters in general on the house that we're looking at. So, yeah, well, thank you.
So stay tuned on all these projects.
Okay. Moving on. We have a Netflix shows review. What do we have here?
Cassie.
So, after finishing my one class
for
school, I was like,
one class with A.
Yes, I did get an A. Let's not
with
It's not even a big deal. It's like whatever. But no, it was one of those things where I was like, man, now I really do have a lot of free time, and I felt like a bum not doing anything. And I was like, well, let's see what's on Netflix. Let's see what shows. I binge watched 2 shows. They're both only in season 1, but I watched 2 shows over the weekend because I literally had nothing else to do. So anyways, I was like, I'm bored. I need to do something. So I was like, well, let's see what's on Netflix. And I come across a show that keeps popping up on my Facebook and Instagram called Dead to Me. It's a Netflix show. It's with Christina Applegate and someone else. Anyways, I liked it. I thought it's not supposed to be funny, but it's got its moments. Am I doing the whole summary? What are we doing here? Guys, I don't review. This is the reason I don't review.
You do whatever you want to do, Cass. What do you want to tell us about that show? Let's just answer that question.
I think it's funny. I would definitely watch it. It was getting into the wee hours of the night, and I was like, maybe I should get sleep. Type of watching it where you don't want to stop. I think it has some really great acting in it. They're obviously what happens in the show is this woman, her husband dies. He's hit by a car, and he's 45, and he's got 2 kids and his wife, and so it's about his wife dealing with the grief of losing her husband, and it's got its sad moments, and they're going through that, but then there's a character in there that's pretty. She's just off her rocker, not all there, not all the marbles are up in there. I don't want to give away what happens, but it's fun, and definitely at the end you're it leaves you kind of on a cliffhanger, so I'll just say that.
There's only season 1?
Yeah.
Dang, Cassie's movie review. Ooh.
No, it's not.
Okay. Is it something that would interest me in Austin, or is it more of a chick flick?
I don't know if Austin was watching it off and on. He says no.
Chick flick. All right, got it.
Yes. Got it.
Is that the only show you've been watching?
And then, no, I watched another
Austin
one.
in the background. Nope.
Season 1. It's called You.
Me?
and just YOU, also on Netflix, and it was it's about a guy he's a stalker, and some crazy shit goes down in there, and I'll just say, it makes you kind of wonder who can see into your house.
I did see that. It's been out for a little bit, right?
I think so.
Yeah, I did see that, and I think people were talking about it as like it's a good movie.
It's a show, but yeah.
Or, you know what I mean.
So yeah, he's crazy. It's one of those where he stalks her for a while, and then he inserts himself in her life, and some crazy shit goes down. Some moitas, it's great.
Okay.
They're filming season 2, so I would definitely jump on the train for that one.
And you watch both these seasons in 2 days?
No, probably like 3.
I was gonna say, dang. Cassie's out of school for 1 week.
And just
back to her bumming around days.
What?
It's summertime.
Whatever.
It's summertime. Okay. Speaking of Netflix, really quickly, we did make the decision once hopefully this house goes through that we're not gonna have cable. We're gonna follow the Austin model and stream. Mm-hmm. So we just need good internet. But just a side note. Austin, what about your movie review?
So we went and watched Detective Pikachu last week, or when it came out.
Mm-hmm. Did it take you back?
Yeah. Have you not seen it?
No, I've not seen it.
Okay, I'll spoil it everything.
Of course you will.
The intro credits is really cool. Like, again, okay, I won't spoil anything.
Is it not? I think I did see the movie. It was an hour and 40 minutes of him just dancing, right? Yes,
that is true.
Go on.
It had a budget of 150 because there was 150 original Pokemon.
Oh, okay.
The intro credits are really cool. It starts off. It gives you tastes. It gives you like a few tastes of like what the world we know a Pokemon to be, of going out there, catching them, battling. And then it switches to they mainly stay in Rhyme City, which is a city that was designed so that Pokemon and humans can live together and not battle. But it's basically the story of this kid. His dad is killed, and his Pokemon, the Pikachu, he can understand him for some reason. Ryan Reynolds' voice. The story is what it is. There's not like a lot there to the story, but it does give you a lot of cool Easter eggs and hints and nods to the games, the cartoon, all the stuff, all the way back to Gen 1. And so in that like respect, it's really cool. But I mean, I thought it was a good movie. The acting, everyone's okay. I mean, Ryan Reynolds is awesome. Everyone else is okay. I give it a 7 out of 10 because for a weird, again, Detective Pikachu movie, I think it did good. It's not really like a adult movie. It's really geared towards kids, but it does have some like funny parts and some funny jokes because it's Ryan Reynolds. And I thought it was great. The one spoiler I will give, because I mean I don't think anyone really cares. The Squirtle Squad is seen, and I was very happy about that.
What? Where?
They don't make reference to. I mean, they're not wearing their sunglasses, but you know it's them. You know what's up.
That's pretty badass.
Mm-hmm.
I think the characters looked they were well done.
The Pokemon?
They looked good. It didn't look too realistic. I don't know. It was good. They did a great job on him.
Yeah, they did a good job of like, this is what Pokemon would be doing in the real world if we had them. Right?
So Rhyme City is the place where they could coexist, but everywhere else in the world, it's like Ash Ketchum badges, I'm sure. And that's pretty cool. I do want to see it. I don't think Jess has any interest in seeing it. I think she would, but I'm not rushing to the theater to see this also, like Endgame or anything.
Yeah, I mean, it was good. Again, we watched it with AMC, A-list stubs. What's up?
Throw some money.
It was good. I do think I've been hearing like this is kind of like the stepping stone to other movies, because in its first week it almost beat out Avengers.
Really?
That same week, like Avengers this weekend made like 60-something million dollars in the United States, and Detective Pikachu made like 58 million. So like it was right behind it, you know.
Wow.
I mean, you would expect it to do well. Like this movie's gonna draw kids in. It's gonna draw people our age in, you know. And it's good. It's a good movie. It's Detective Pikachu, so it's not gonna be, you know, Pokemon Red, Pokemon Blue. We're not doing that, but you can see hints of it being there. Like it's a real world that they're building out. And then so the movie just got me more excited for Pokemon Sword and Shield coming out at the end of the year for Switch. I can't wait.
Which one are you gonna?
Like
buy?
I forgot about it.
You gonna buy Sword or Shield?
Sword is what I'm going with right now. I don't know. I might change my mind, but
Don't hold me to it. Okay.
yeah. But it was good. It was a good movie. We'll hopefully go see John Wick this week.
I wonder if Fortnite is doing a John Wick crossover or something like they did with Endgame.
Nice.
They put his house. His house is a location on the map, and there's a section of the house where it's not marked, but you can break it, and there's like 3 treasure chests on the underneath where he breaks his stuff. Mm-hmm. So everyone's kind of thinking that, like, you know, why would his house be there? But I don't know. We'll see. I haven't heard anything else about it.
You become John Wick.
Well, there's a character. I think it's called the Reaper, and that's the name that Fortnite gave it. But it's dressed like John Wick. It's his beard, his hair, a black tuxedo-looking suit. Mm-hmm. Everyone called him John Wick. That's not the name they gave him, but it's like it resembles him very much.
Right.
But anyway,
they're gonna make him OP.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna make it out to see that movie, Detective Pikachu. I use a website to watch some movies sometimes that are out, and if it goes on there, I'll for sure watch it.
I mean, it's one of those movies like you could wait till it goes on Netflix or
not if you have kids though.
Did you see Shazam? Shazam's on this website.
I did not see Shazam. I really didn't have too much interest in it.
Please stop showing us your illegal. I mean, with the Movie Pass, what is it called? AMC List
Stubs.
Club member stubs. We might as well get our money's worth. So, I don't know if we'll see like any other type of movie, but you know, Pokemon, John Wick, might as well.
I mean, we have a good slate coming up.
Yeah, for the summer, but I think we were at our lull there for a little bit.
We were. I will go with you there, but like we have John Wick coming out, and then we have Aladdin. And then we have. Let me see. I have it here.
Only if I can sing.
Godzilla.
You mean Ray have to go watch that one?
Yeah, Rocket Man. We'll come watch it, and then we'll go to your new house.
Okay.
Then we have Dark Phoenix coming up.
I do want to see that.
Yeah, and then Men in Black International.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Shaft. Toy Story 4, Child's Play. I mean, this is all in the summer still.
Toy Story 4's name of Toy Story 4 is Child's Play?
No, it's not. Spider-Man?
Yes, it is.
Oh, yeah, you're going to be busy the next couple months.
Lion King? I mean, and that's...
And the great thing about the thing is that we could reserve our seats ahead of time.
Right, yeah.
All right, well, stay tuned for all those movie reviews Austin just named.
Yeah, babe.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we'll go on
Austin, I can do it.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to hear your gripe, though.
Ooh.
Now let's get ready for J. Mike's gripes.
Yikes!
Okay. It's been a while. Okay, here we go. This one is related to... I mean, I guess it's related to the work environment, but I have here people who are nosy for no reason and try to act nonchalant, but you know their intention is to get all up in your business.
This feels like it's a direct attack towards somebody, but go on. I'm going to let you laugh.
So I hope they don't listen. And I mean, if you do listen, I mean this with
all the business. Mind your mother effing business.
I mean this with all the it's not.
Get out my face.
I'm not serious. This is not a serious podcast. I'm not angry. So we'll just go from there. Okay, here we go. So I had a day off yesterday. It was unexpected, but I took a day off, for whatever, house and stuff. The house inspection and whatnot. And there's somebody at work who always is wanting to know, like, they want to know what's happening and be involved in why, that curiosity. Yeah. And so this person texted me saying, I assume, didn't even say anything about, like, whatever. And they're like, hold on, I'm trying to, like, say this without sounding mad.
No, I love it. I love it because you're such a lover.
They were asking, the first text I got when I woke up, it said, so I guess you're taking care of house stuff today? ? Like.
Can I ask you a question? Is it your boss?
No.
It's none of their business. Go ahead.
So I read it and purposely deleted it so I didn't have a temptation to text back.
Oh.
Wow.
And then the day went on, and then probably in the afternoon, I get another text from this person, just 3 question marks.
What?
And I deleted it again because at that point, I typed something really mean out. Like, I was going to say, like, dude, I'll be there tomorrow. Like, that's it type of thing.
So it's a guy. All right.
And then finally later on after the inspection, I texted back. I just put, yeah. Like, I answered this person's question from 7 a.m. And that was it. That's one example. Like, mind your business. Like, like, you don't need to know what's happening.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't have anyone at work that does that, though.
But would that annoy you?
Yeah.
It depends on the person, don't you think?
No, it doesn't. Because, no, I'll just say this. No, it doesn't.
Oh.
In my experience, no, it doesn't.
I try not to pry, like, how was your weekend? What did y'all do?
See, that's harmless.
Whatever.
This has the intention, the underlying intention to just be nosy, to just be in the know. Like, to just, for themselves, they don't care about my house as how I feel. And I mean that very, very, I don't mean that seriously at all if you're listening.
Yes, he does. Go on.
I did have, like, a similar situation where we had a coworker who was out, and we just had a random question for the coworker, and I was like, oh, we'll just text her. And so we text, and she responded, and she added on, like, several other things of, like, stuff that was going on in her life of why she was out. And at that moment, like, we weren't trying to figure out anything, like, why she was out or why she wasn't there. We just had a question. But when she said all that, I can see, like, maybe your coworker going further, but we were just like, okay, do whatever you have to do. Like,
right, like
we literally just had the one question for you.
Yeah, you didn't have to tell us that.
Yeah. Yeah. But I can see, like, where your coworker would be, like, looking for that information.
Yeah.
But like I said, luckily, like, I really don't work with anyone that does that. So, but I can see how that would be annoying.
It's just like,
for them, I get it if you ask, if somebody harmlessly is like, oh man, so-and-so's not here, I'm going to text him real quick. And then it also, I think it depends, like, how close you are. I'm guessing you're not as close to this person as just, like, let's say Jessica and Erica are. You know what I mean? But for them to keep texting you, that's kind of like, To send
the question marks is the part.
Yes. The follow-up.
Again, it's not the end of the world. It's just sometimes it rubs me the wrong way on the wrong day.
No, I really think it depends on, like, the person, like, how long you've been working with them, how close you are to them. I mean, you would be the one to know if it's actually coming from a sincere place or if they're just prying.
Right.
And then on the other side of that gripe, just really quickly.
You couldn't come up with a better gripe? Jesus.
No.
The only people who listen to this, you're griping about them. I'm just kidding.
The other half of that, I was printing in some papers today for the home stuff, a lot of papers. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And, they keep seeing me get up. And they kind of look back. I can see they're trying to see what I'm printing. And
what are you printing?
And I have my headphones on purpose so I don't have to acknowledge them. And this one time I had to print like a 25-page paper thing. Sure. And I get up without the headphones. They're like, what did they say? Like, that's a lot of paper right there. Or something like that. I was like, yeah. I feel like that. Like, they want to know what's happening. Like, it's in their body to know and be involved. There's people like that.
There are people like that, yes.
They always
but
have to just be in the know.
I'm glad I don't work with anyone like that. What I
I
rarely...
feel like good.
No, so I rarely ask people...
I don't care, dude.
I mean, y'all know how I am.
Yeah.
And people listening, y'all know how I am. Like, I don't really... Yeah, I don't care. But if I do ask, it's because I really am asking, like... Because I want to know to make sure, like, you're okay, or how's everything going, or, you know, are you not still sick, are you feeling better, how's your baby, how's this and that. Like, I really am asking to ask. I never ask people just to know. Like, that's not... If it doesn't affect me, it's really hard for it to be on my radar to begin with. But when I do ask, it's because I'm genuinely asking, how's it going? How are you doing? How's so-and-so? Everything all right? You know.
Yeah. That's it. You know, mind your business.
Austin's hard to reach into the feelers part. I'll ask him follow-up questions, and he's like, oh, I don't know. I'm like, why wouldn't you ask that? He's like, I didn't ask that.
There's been several conversations where John and I have been texting, and I'll tell Cassie something, and she'll ask a follow-up question, and I'm like, well, I don't know. And she's like, well, what do you mean you don't know?
Something real simple. I can't even think of an example.
Because there's only been probably one instance.
No. Just like they have, I don't know. I can't even think of an example, but it's like something that you would think the follow-up came with it, and he's like, oh, I don't know. I didn't ask. I'm like, you're talking about it. How do you not ask this? But other times where people are like, I'm not going to say pouring their heart out to Austin, but he just will be like, oh, sorry about, like, he won't follow up question, nothing, like, try to comfort anybody. Yeah. He's just like, oh, okay.
Well, cool. I do comfort people. You're not supposed to ask prying. You're not supposed to ask prying questions to begin with.
That's what I'm saying.
No. But if somebody wants to talk, you could tell when somebody wants to talk about it.
Everyone always seems like they want to talk to me about something. That's my mutant ability.
That's your cross.
Everyone always seems like they want to talk to me about something. It's hard to discern. You know.
You just have one of those.
Proceed from there.
One of those. I don't know. You draw people in. Somehow.
I guess.
Right. That was it. Mind your business is the moral of the story. And then moving on to the last thing here. We have another fun, what do you want to call it? Roulette.
Austin's
roulette.
Article roulette.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. We're still working on your name. Anyway. So you have a list of articles.
on a jingle.
You have a list of articles. A number of articles for us that we get to choose from, just from listening to the title of the article, and you'll talk to us about it.
All right. Okay. I have 7 articles here.
Okay.
All right. Here we go. First one: Amazon offers to help employees start delivery business. They're basically telling them to quit their job. Next one: 12-year-old boy will juggle college and elementary school.
Ooh.
Next one: alleged Russian spy whale is refusing to leave and is seeking Norwegians' attention. Next one: German police seeking a 1980s Ferrari after test drive theft. Disney takes control over Hulu in new deal with Comcast. And hold on. And Texan accent voted sexiest in the nation.
Ew.
Oh man, Cassie, what are you feeling?
So I would go Amazon, the little boy in college and elementary, and
little boy,
or Texas sexiest accent.
I vote for the guy who's juggling whatever else he's juggling, college and junior high.
All right, that's the boringness one, but all right.
Really? Well, tell us a good one then. Why do you give us sucky options?
Okay, I want it the whale number 2.
No, I mean, it is whatever. I can say whichever one.
Russian spies. Go ahead.
Yeah, do the whale.
It's not.
The Russians are listening. Go.
What kind of whale?
Get
is
it? Whale? Beluga.
Ah,
obviously.
Obvious choice.
Yeah. So, the byline is a beluga whale found in Norway on April 26 with a tight harness that appears to be Russian-made has prompted fears that the animal may be a Russian spy whale. So basically, it's these 2 Norwegian fishermen found this whale that kept bobbing up and had a harness like around its head. And now the whale who beluga whales are normally not like, not that they're not friendly, but they're not going to hang around people that often, continues to pop up with these people, and it keeps like looking for their attention. So like I said, an alleged Russian spy whale is refusing to leave a Norwegian port city in what appears to be a high-profile defection after a week of global attention on the unnamed whale. It goes on to say...
Can I change my pick? I'm just kidding.
No. That's interesting.
So the whale was first spotted by Norwegian fishermen last week when they noticed that it persistently harassed their boats. The fishermen subsequently spotted a strange harness wrapped around its body. And the inscription on the harness read Equipment St. Petersburg, which is in Russia, obviously. Right now, Norwegian officials currently have all that harness in their possession. They say, quote, "We must admit that examining technical equipment attached to whales is not a daily occurrence for us. It is unclear if we will find anything."
So it's just a harness?
Yeah.
There's nothing mechanical or electronic on it?
No. But there probably was.
So maybe he dropped something in the ocean?
Yes.
Like a sonar or something? I don't know.
Nuclear warhead? Uh-huh.
on the back of his, as he's swimming?
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay.
They did say, quote, "The whale is not a suspect in our investigation for now." So they told the whale not to skip town. They took its passport.
So is he still in the ocean? Or where is he? Is he in an...
Yeah. They just have him harnessed.
They captured him. Like, you're not going
currently
nowhere.
being
You're not telling
interrogated.
anybody anything.
What do you know?
He's seen too much. Can't let him go.
They have to get an interpreter, a Russian whale-speaking person.
But again, going to the part that Russia could be spying, it's not out of the ordinary. They say, like, in this area, there's been mysterious submarines, unidentified jets, and just strange troop movements from Russia. So, they might ask us, the U.S., for help in this matter.
I just don't see why they need to use those poor animals.
I mean, again, this is not out of the ordinary. The U.S. Navy uses dolphins and sea lions in our Navy. So
why?
That's
they
cool.
use them mainly to, like, locate mines.
Oh, shit. Never mind.
Well, because dolphins, you know, they have the sonar echolocation. So
And sea lions, because they're expendable.
I mean, I could see that, but to spy, like, that's weird.
He's just probably testing out a new harness for the latest beluga whale.
But I wonder if he was trained to stay in that spot and, like, listen or record.
probably they're going to try to evacuate the beluga whale because they can tell that it's been trained by humans. Obviously, if it came from this Russian, spy sparrow place.
Red Sparrow. Mm-hmm.
Red Sparrow. Jennifer Lawrence. Horrible movie. They're going to try to, like, get it out of the water and, like, take it to an actual habitat. Yeah, question it.
Are they going
Rough
to
it up.
extradite it back to Russia?
Because they know that it's been kept by humans, so, like, it can't survive in the wild. So they're just going to try to keep it. Yeah. So that's it.
So he really is not going to tell anybody because they're going to remove him from the situation.
They're going to take care of the situation.
Yes. Uh-huh.
What if this starts like the next war over the beluga whale? What if they want their beluga whale back?
What if it's just a whale's fucking with us?
He strapped it onto himself.
They're
and
trying
like,
to start.
"Watch
They're trying to
this."
start some shit.
Mm-hmm. What if it was what if it was Jason Momoa who's starting all this for Atlantis?
This is the first sign of them coming up from the sea.
What if this is a Aquaman Part 2 tie-in that an elaborate tie-in?
Yeah.
I'm sure it is, right? That movie made $1 billion. Why not? Let's train a beluga whale.
All right.
They got enough money to throw around,
Those poor animals.
All right. On that note of a beluga whale being used that way, we're gonna end it right here. Unless you.
So can you tell me the story of the little boy?
All these articles get deleted afterwards, so you'll never hear from them again. That's the one you chose.
I'm going to look it up.
We're done here. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you guys next week. Make sure you guys check us out on our social media sites.
We are at Third Life Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Follow us to see exactly how we are surviving our third life crisis. If you like this episode, make sure to subscribe, rate, and leave a review on iTunes, Spotify, and wherever else you may be listening. Again, to find us, just search 3RD Life Podcast or head over to our website at www.3rdlifepodcast.com to find links to everything I just mentioned and past episodes. Be sure to follow us on our individual Twitter accounts at jmike2689, at castle_Cassie, and at the Austin Luna.
All right, guys.
Over under. This gets put out by Monday.
Over under.
Over. It depends when John sends the recording.
I'll send it before Monday. All right. Thanks for hanging out
No.
this week. We will see you guys next week. Get ready for a Cassie's challenge next week. Take care.
What? Bye, guys.
Later.
Can you believe him just calling us out like that? Like, hey, how's the diet going, fat asses? And I was like, how dare you? He didn't care.